Page 41, Scarlet Ribbons. They're introducing a new symbol here too for you. I think it's new. I don't think we've had it. And it's the thin and thick bar line with the dots. Have we had that before? I can't remember. It's called a repeat sign. Look in the second line between the second and third measures. You see it. It's got a little asterisk. The asterisk isn't part of the music. That's just this editor's way of indicating a footnote, which telling you, look at the bottom of the page, there's a note about this. And they explain it down there. So normally you wouldn't see an asterisk there. But it's a thin and thick bar line with two dots. You think it's the end of a piece symbol. Well, it can be, but it's not. It's just a repeat sign. Because if you look at the bottom of the page, at the last measure, there you have a thin and thick bar line without the dots. That's the end of a piece symbol. However, you can have a repeat sign at the end, in which case the repeat sign covers up the end of the piece symbol, because it looks the same except it's got two dots also. That's all. But I disagree with the way this book presents it. However, they're presenting it, so let's talk about it. At the beginning, you have a thick and thin bar line with two dots. It's the repeat sign going the other way. We call it a reverse repeat sign or a backwards repeat sign. Call it what you want, I don't care. The point is it catches it. You see, on a repeat sign, the rule is go back to the beginning and play that part again. Well, the rule technically is you go back to the last reverse repeat sign and play that part again. If there is no reverse repeat sign, then you go back to the beginning and play it again. And the problem I have with the way they present it in this book is that the reverse repeat sign at the beginning of the piece is completely unnecessary. It does nothing. Because you're going to repeat it to that place anyway. You're going to go back to the beginning. There's no reason to have a reverse repeat sign at the beginning of a piece. Generally, the reverse repeat sign is somewhere in the middle of the piece to stop you from going to the beginning, is what it's about. That's the problem I have. Now let's talk about this ribbons thingy. Treble and bass clef, 3/4 time. You can count to three beats in a measure or bar, and we're still counting quarter notes. That's okay. We got half notes and quarter notes, a couple of dotted half notes. We can handle all that, right? Right. Mm-hmm. So let's try it out. Both hands are involved, but you're only playing one hand at a time still. Left hand starting with thumb on middle C here. Right hand starts with E, third finger on E, which means we're in middle C position. Let's just try it out. And right now, I don't do any of this phrasing stuff or any of that. I play everything connected all the way through. And that'll make more sense as the music gets more difficult. So when I'm first learning it, I connect everything. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Now here you'd go back to the reverse repeat sign and play that part again. However, for now we just go on. Yeah. Anyway, I don't feel I need to play it all for you. You play it and you count it out and you learn what it sounds like on your own first. It doesn't matter how fast you go. It's just working. You're just trying to get the notes and the rhythms and all that. And then you go back through and you get rid of any hesitations you may have, because that beat, at whatever speed you're going, that beat has to be a steady beat. Then once we have that, we can add the articulation. That would be the slurs or the phrasing and the staccatos and tenutos and any of that stuff. Well, I don't see any staccatos or tenutos here. All we have are the phrasing. And I disagree with their phrasing. I want to talk about it. The idea is, look in the first line over about the fourth measure or so. You see the phrase, one phrase ends, another begins. You'd lift up in silence, so it'd be 1, 2. So it's like taking a breath. There's a little silence there. My problem is that's not the end of a phrase. They've split a phrase. It's like splitting a sentence. You say part of a sentence and then finish the sentence later. That's what they're doing here. So in my opinion, the first phrase goes all the way from the beginning to the repeat sign. And you can connect all that together. And then you lift up. And the reason I do that is because of the words. If you look at the words, the first verse is say good night and then. There's no comma, there's no nothing. You just keep going. Say good night. If you would like to put in a little breath between good night and, that's fine. You can do that, I guess. So it's say good night and then, if you want to do that. But look at the second verse. That's in the middle of a word. I'm not going to break a phrase in the middle of a word. You got to connect the word together. So it's the second verse is Scarlet Ribbons. So it's Scarlet Ribbons. If I'm going to break a phrase, it'll be at the comma. There. So it's Scarlet Ribbons. Scarlet Ribbons. That's the phrase according to what the words are doing. So the phrasing can change based on the verse, based on the words. If there were no words here, you have to listen to it. And in listening to it, you might think, yes, that's a phrase. I don't know. I leave the phrase up to you and your teacher on how you do it. For this video, I'll go ahead and phrase it the way they're showing. I just don't agree with it. If I'm actually going to perform this, I would change that phrasing there. Look at the third line down. The last three measures or so. You're ending a phrase, starting a phrase. So it's here. This is the third measure from the end here. They break it. Read the words. It's all one sentence. You're not going to go, was breaking, come. No. It just... And then lift up. There. So I would connect all that together as one phrase if I were going to do it. However, as I said, I'll go ahead and phrase it the way it's marked, just because that's the way it's marked for this lesson. Now we can add another thing to the mix, because you don't have enough yet, right? You've got to add some more. And that is called dynamics. I'll explain them eventually. This book has a habit of introducing things before they explain them. And then I'll explain it later on. Oh, by the way, you had this before. Dynamics is louds and softs. Because when you play music, it can be loud or it can be soft or somewhere in between. And hopefully there is some contrast or some difference there. It's not always going to be at the same level. It doesn't always have to be loud all the time. So look at the beginning, under the staff. Under the bottom staff you see the P, and in parentheses it says soft. P is an abbreviation for an Italian word, piano. That's what you're playing. It simply means soft. So when you see the P indication there, and normally it's between the staves. Doesn't matter, we can do this. You're simply going to play it soft. Well, what is soft? Good question, because there's no set. There's no absolute, this is soft. It's a range. It's a feeling. It depends on the situation, the room, how many people are around. Are you outdoors in a big area, a little room like this one? It changes. So in these videos, I'm so helpful. I usually say, I can't help you there. You figure out. You'll have to decide what you think soft is. Not really soft, because there's softer than this. It's just on the soft. Whatever you think soft is, that's it. That's your soft. Now whatever you decide it is, you make it the same throughout the whole piece. Anytime you have soft in that piece, it's going to be the same. So just memorize it. P, it stands for piano. It means soft. Now in the second line, right after that repeat sign, that's the third measure of the second line, underneath it says crescendo or cresc, which means getting louder. Crescendo, again, Italian word. That C-R-E-S-C is an abbreviation. Sometimes you see that. Sometimes you see the whole word, or doesn't matter. It means to gradually get louder. Gradually get louder. Now, sometimes they tell you how much louder to get, and sometimes the music doesn't tell you. This piece is telling you, if you look at the last measure of the line, there's an MF. F means forte or loud. M means mezzo or moderately, medium, sort of. MF then is moderately loud, medium loud, sort of loud. Not loud, just sort of loud. So you're going to go from soft to moderately loud, and you got like, what, 3 measures to get there. Well, you have to plan it out, because if you don't plan it out, you'll be moderately loud by the next measure. You'll be too soon. And depends on the situation. In this case, there's 3 measures involved, so I'm probably going to take it like a measure and a half or so. I'm going to stay soft. This is the 3rd measure of the 2nd line, soft. Now look, just a little bit. Now moderately loud. I don't want to be moderately loud until that G. There. So again, it's soft. Don't get loud, it's just sort of loud. You practice dynamics. And this is why I don't add them until after I've learned the piece, because I got enough to think about. First, you just got to get the notes and the rhythm and all that out of the way, and then the articulation adds more to it. Well, then we're adding these louds and softs to practice. So it's like, just take it a bit at a time. There are some people who can take everything at one shot and get it all. You know, it's disgusting. I can't do that. I got to do this just a piece at a time. And that's how I do it. So you go ahead and learn it, whatever speed, I don't care. Make sure the beat is steady. And when you're ready, let's go play it together to double check the notes and the rhythms. Now, in the play with me sections, I will do the phrase, I'll do the articulation, that stuff. I don't do the dynamics. I'm not performing it here, I'm just playing the notes. I want you to hear the notes. And so you can do the dynamics on your own. You make it music on your own. I mean, that's a personal thing anyway. You got to get past the mechanical part, the notes and rhythms and articulating this stuff, and you got to get into the music and start feeling the music. And then when you can do that, start playing what you feel and experiment how you feel and feel it differently each time you play it. Experiment. That's interpretation. That's where you turn it into music. It's a personal thing, and you do it. I could do it here and show you, and then you'd say, oh, is that how it goes? Okay, and then you'll just copy me. No, you got to make it yours. Now there's a gotcha here, look out. A gotcha is what I call them. They're little tricky spots, little changes, and they'll get you if you're not watching them. You got to be careful. Look at the last line, 2nd measure. The rhythm, the quarter note comes first, and all the others, the half notes come first. So it's in there, it's 1, 2, 3. So if you look around, it's always been a half note first. 1, 2, 3, 1. Not here, it's quarter note first, so look out there. So I'll give us 3 counts, and let's do this together, slowly, and we will take the repeat. So I'll get, yeah, something like that. 1, ready, go. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. Repeat. 2. 2. 1, 2. 2. 1, 2. 3. 2. 2. 2. 2. 3, off.